Jim Jones did not enter hip-hop as a chosen star or a lyrical prodigy. He entered through proximity. Proximity to Harlem, proximity to ambition, and proximity to people who already had momentum in music and culture. Before there were records, before there were charts, Jim Jones was known for presence. He was visible. He was in studios, hallways, and rooms where careers were quietly being shaped.
Dumping them valves of the rocks, but I came up from that cooking cane to crack. Shit. Now I'm a rude boy shotter man, New York's rider man. Yeah! The way I pressed them.
His early connection with Camron came from this shared environment, a Harlem identity mixed with hunger and access.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Well, we gonna get the car wheels going.
I bet.
Jimmy, let me see the car. Let me see what's going on. It's my man.
The one hand joint.
Yeah.
Drunk and pissy, whip be 50, whip be crispy, whip cost 60, goddamn. Killer, break it down, how you do, Harlem World, where you at,
When I'm in the whip, man, I burn my rubber.
Right.
When I get mad, dog, I pop my rubber. This bitch tried to pop my rubber. Told her like Mike did Billie Jean, you are not my lover. But one time I shot my lover, popped my lover, played insanity, said.
From the very beginning, there was a difference in positioning. Camron was viewed as the voice, the creative centerpiece, the artist with direction. Jim Jones was viewed as the supporter, the motivator, the organizer. That role carried power, but it did not carry equal recognition. That imbalance would quietly shape everything that followed. As the Diplomats began to rise, the culture around them shifted. Mixtapes became currency, fashion became branding, Harlem slang became national language. Dipset was not simply a group, it was a movement that blended music, street identity, and visibility. Camron stood at the center of that rise, delivering records that crossed into mainstream success and established Dipset as a cultural force. Jim Jones worked relentlessly during this period, pushing projects, energizing appearances, and keeping momentum alive through constant presence. Jones released solo music and achieved chart success, but the narrative did not change. He remained framed as secondary, as part of something larger rather than as a focal point. Over time, that framing hardened. Public success did not erase private resentment, it amplified it. As Dipset grew, so did complications. Money entered the picture, credit entered the picture, ownership entered the picture. These elements change relationships quietly before they ever change them publicly. Years later, Jim Jones would speak emotionally in interviews about sacrifices he believed he made to build Dipset. He described time lost, loyalty given, and effort that went unseen.
These clowns and all these, but boy, if you really get to live this last 20 years that I lived, you would understand, boy. I put everything on the line for this, and I took it with a smile. I went to trial over shit like that. I went to court over shit like that. Every time you see me in the news, it was over Diplomats. When I get sued and shit like that, it be over Diplomats. When I'm kicking ass, when I come to the club 30 deep, it did what? It made the Diplomats look good. You heard? When I'm banging blood, it was good for them, right?
These were not spontaneous reflections. They were responses to years of feeling overlooked. Camron maintained a different position. In interviews, he consistently framed Dipset as an extension of his vision, his creativity, and his leadership. From his perspective, success flowed through him. Two realities existed at once. One man believed he built the foundation, the other believed he carried the structure. Neither view left room for shared ownership of the story. Pressure increased in the mid-2000s. Public rivalries, industry conflicts, and moments of exposure brought internal fractures to the surface. One of the most talked about moments occurred when 50 Cent, during his public tension with Camron, brought Jim Jones and Jules Santana on stage. To the public, it appeared unified. To those inside the situation, it felt revealing. Camron later described that moment as strategic, not because of performance, but because it exposed alignment under pressure. That moment did not create division, it revealed it. From there, trust became conditional, communication slowed, individual paths hardened. Camron became more selective and controlled with his appearances and output. Jim Jones moved in the opposite direction, increasing volume, releasing mixtapes, collaborating constantly, and refusing to disappear. Years passed with limited interaction. When Camron publicly stated that Dipset was effectively over, it was framed as final, not reflective. For Jim Jones, this was not simply the end of a group, it felt like the erasure of contribution. In hip-hop, narratives are legacy. Who tells the story determines who is remembered. Jim Jones responded by rebuilding himself independently. Album by album, feature by feature, he reshaped how audiences viewed him. He positioned himself as someone who survived a fractured system. In interviews, he emphasized longevity, adaptability, and resilience. These were not motivational speeches, they were defensive histories. He was correcting the record as much as he was telling his story. The modern era brought a new element to the conflict. Podcasts, short clips, and algorithms changed how old tension resurfaced. Camron's comments on his platforms, particularly questioning Jim Jones's proximity, background, and early role, reignited long-standing frustration. These statements were not shouted, they were dismissive. Dismissal cuts deeper than confrontation.
You are not from Harlem. I did not grow up with you, man. Do you remember how we met? Pause. Not met, how you got cool with us? Basically, you heard our freestyles. And you came up to me one day when I was chilling in front of the house. You said, yo, man, I heard the freestyles. Y'all killing shit. More freestyles come out. Y'all heard the new shit you did. Children of the Corn, 12-minute freestyle. Mace, Camron, Cardan, DJ Clue. Google Bloodshed and Camron, Children of the Corn, freestyle. Are you at any of these places? No, you was not there, man. You wasn't there.
Jim Jones responded publicly, pushing back against what he described as revisionist history. He emphasized his role, his presence, and his sacrifices.
All us had to go down this way, and everything plays out on the internet the way it's playing out and shit like that, especially for two people that people know to be brothers and as close as we are. So I could imagine all the confusion and how people are feeling and how people are feeling separated and people feeling like they gotta choose a side. I don't want nobody to ever choose a side of what's going on. It's just sad that is people having to see this.
50 Cent re-entered the narrative, not as a direct participant, but as an amplifier. By reposting clips, resurfacing contradictions, and mocking positioning, he added reach and pressure. In hip-hop, attention is power, and 50 Cent has always understood how to deploy it.
Jimmy was not a rapper then.
Right.
He was your man, like on the side, like on the side, just he was not a rapper at all.
Right.
So when Ballin' took place, and I'm looking and I'm going, oh, he having a moment. That's the Lloyd Banks, it's Lloyd Banks thing. He wanted that. He was watching them be that, like Mace be that and Cam be that, and looked at, and it was finally, he had one.
Mm-hmm.
And I just looked, and I knew, I just took the shot, Murder, to see, because I wasn't sure he was gonna go for it.
Mm-hmm.
But I was like, we like Jimmy better than you anyway, Cam. Then you gotta watch to see how he responds. And then when you see, he like, oh shit, he really like that. Hey, give me this, give me Jimmy. Yeah, tell him we want him. We want you at the show, Jimmy.
The internet preserved every moment. Old interviews resurfaced, statements were replayed without context. Fans became historians, dissecting timelines and intent. Every pause was analyzed, every clip became evidence. What once existed as private disappointment became public spectacle. This was no longer just a personal conflict, it became a fight over narrative ownership. Reconciliation was discussed publicly and dismissed publicly. Camron expressed doubt that the relationship could be repaired.
I don't know. I mean, like I said, I just think that we're in two different spaces in life, and that don't mean I don't wish him well, and I don't mean Jewels and everybody that was part of what we did. I think it's a great movement, but sometimes things just come to an end. So I would never say never, but it doesn't look like it's in the near future. But I do wish them brothers well.
Jim Jones questioned the sincerity of past attempts. What remained was unresolved history. Unresolved history does not fade in hip-hop, it recycles. Jim Jones's story is not of simple downfall, it's a story of contested legacy. He helped build something influential. He believes he was undercredited for it, and he refuses to let the narrative move forward without his voice included. Camron's legacy remains secure, so does Jim Jones's, but they now exist separately, not together. That separation is the real ending, not a diss record, not a reunion, but a permanent divide shaped by pride, perception, and power.